Okay, so for adding in pictures, you're first going to want to find the pictures that you want either on Google or however you want to get them and get them onto your computer. So I have two pictures that I'm going to show you. One that's fully black and white, one that has color, just to kind of show you the difference and some different steps with those. So I already have them on my desktop, so I'm going to pull them up. So the easiest way to add in a picture is this little button that has a down arrow called Import. And then on my desktop, I can find it. One of them is called Arrow. And so when you find your picture, your cursor is going to change. And basically you can click and drag out however big you want that image to be. So I'm going to try that and start with that. Not too bad. And you can always change it afterwards too. If you do something you don't like I just did, I don't like how I stretched that out, Control Z on your keyboard. Easy way to undo. So this one has a really big white box around it, and it is possible to crop it in Corel Draw, but it's probably easier to do it beforehand, before bringing it in. So I'll just show you that real quick. So I have my little arrow program over here. So if I just open it up in normal Paint. So to crop in Paint, you're just going to select, so that select box, and basically draw a box around what you want to keep. That looks good, and then you can click crop. And then I'm just going to click save. And it saved it to exactly where it was before. I can close out. I'm going to delete that other one. Bring in that arrow again. And there we go, much better. So this one, it looks pretty good. I can zoom in here. It is a little choppy around the edges, and that's exactly what it's going to do on the laser. So if the edges don't look very clean, you can kind of see in here it's kind of like pixely. You can clean that up pretty easily. So at the top of your screen is a thing called Trace Bitmap. If you just do quick trace, and it already looks so much better. Just one thing to be aware of is that when you do quick trace, it keeps your original. So the one on top is the better one, and I can zoom in here and you can see the difference between those two edges on the lines. I'm gonna get rid of the bad one, the original. And now this one looks nice and clean. So and with images, you can add a hairline to it if you want to like cut it out. So maybe I want to cut out this design. So you can see it added a hairline around everything, around the whole image, around the little heart and arrow thing. And maybe I only want it around the outside and not the other part. You can trim up those lines using a tool that's underneath this crop button called Virtual Segment Delete. So it's going to be a lot easier for me to show you on this outside border, but if I just click and drag over that line, it'll delete those lines. There we go. So you can get rid of those lines. So maybe, like, this will just cut out that exact image and engrave it before it cuts out. So kind of cool. So that's one thing you can do with images. Another one with images is bringing in a color photo. So again, I'm going to import a photo that's called 2019 STEM logo. And here is our little STEM logo. So our laser obviously can't engrave color. It's not going to be able to do that. So if you want to kind of see what it's going to look like as what the engraver will do, kind of a good way is up in the little toolbar called Bitmaps and going to Mode. You can change it to either black and white or grayscale. I'm going to try grayscale, and you can kind of see how dark things are going to be, and you can even just keep the image like this. So the M is going to kind of blend in with that back ear, but otherwise it looks pretty good. And again, just like with that arrow, the edges are a little pixely. So again, I can go trace, quick trace. This one, it says that it's just really, really big. I'm just gonna reduce it. It's gonna take a second. And yet again, I have those two copies. So my old one was underneath that I can delete. And then my better new one is here. So that's with grayscale. If you want to do black and white, which sometimes works better for some pictures, so I'm just gonna import in my image again and go up to Bitmaps, Mode, Black and White. This one you get a little bit more freedom to customize what it looks like. So there are different conversion methods. I usually stick to line art. And then this threshold bar, you can change like how dark things are. So you could see when at the original, like that E wasn't really there. So by turning it up, I can get that E to come back. And if I think it looks good, I can click OK. And again, I could do that trace bitmap, reduce, and there's that. So that same picture, two different ways of kind of working with the colors. Depending on what you're doing, you can kind of decide and play around with it too. So once you have your design all done, you could have just one single thing, whole bunch of stuff, you want to save your work. So you're gonna go up to File and Save. And it's a good idea to save it to your network drive so that you just always have it. It can't disappear in case you need to go back to it, make changes. So putting it in your network drive that has your username on it, that's a really good idea. So you can save it to there. And then you're also going to need to save it onto a flash drive. So you're going to want to plug in a flash drive to your computer, go File, Save As, and then choosing your flash drive that should show up under this PC as a device to plug in, and you can call it whatever you want or your name, whatever project it is, and save it onto your flash drive to take into the lab to cut out.